YouTube and Snapchat and fuckers. Welcome back to another installment of the Friday Wrap-Up. Well, we made it to the end of another week, your favorite day, and who better to spend it with than yours truly? So, we got a good show today. Before we kick today's show off, I want to tip my hat to today's libation. I'm drinking a Tommy Original. It's my little riff on a vodka Collins. I call it a summer breeze, because it's easy as a summer breeze. Here's what we got. 2 shots of your favorite vodka. I'm using a little Tito's. Some homemade lemonade. Okay? Yeah, it's right. Some lemon juice, little simple syrup, or you could use a mix, whatever makes you happy. And I top it off with a flavored club soda. I'm using a strawberry watermelon club soda. Light, crisp, refreshing. Zalu, to drink up and be somebody. Oh, that's dangerous. Okay, so, sad news to kick the week off. A comedy icon, Jackie Mason, died at the ripe old age of 93 years old on Saturday. Last Saturday, rather. For those of you that don't know who Jackie Mason is, I suggest you get a fucking clue. Actually, he was very funny. Believe it or not, he used to be a rabbi. He was known as the king of the Borscht Belt. If you ever saw him, maybe you saw him in Caddyshack too. He played Mr. Artunian. Very funny little Jewish comedian. Always used to crack me up. So unfortunately, he passed away. But I mean, listen, he lived to a ripe old age of 93 years old. So he must have been doing something right. Another update: got the ink finished finally. Take a quick look here. Had him take a shot for you. I got to give a big shout out to my boy Gentle J over at Kinetic Body Art. Let me tell you something. You need some ink done, go see this guy. It's the fucking best. He was an Ink Masters finalist. And as you can see by his work, he's no joke. So that was basically my week. Yes, nothing fantastic and spectacular. So moving right along, let's talk about Nostrilgate. That Cuomo saga continues. Well, our friend Nostrils has been laying low last couple of weeks. Well, this week he came right out of the gate like a fucking thoroughbred. So, Federal Department of Justice is dropping their investigation. The feds are dropping their investigation on the nursing home murders. So, but that doesn't mean the state is. The state AG has said she's going to continue her investigation. However, I'm sure it'll end up being completely fruitless. At this point, what the fuck are you investigating? I mean, it's pretty cut and dry, right? So, the feds dropping the investigation, probably not a good sign. The state, I'm sure, will come back inconclusive. Well, Cuomo says, now he's gone on to other things too. He's been all over the map this week. So Cuomo says that businesses should, with all this COVID Delta fucking variant that's happening, this new wolf flu that's happening out there, apparently it's making people fucking crazy. So this dumbass says businesses in New York State should not admit non-vaccinated people. They're making a push, and we're going to talk about this in the next segment, but they're making a push, really, to just get everybody 100% vaccinated. They forgot that this is a fucking free country. Look, hey, you want to get vaccinated, get vaccinated. You don't want to get vaccinated, don't get vaccinated. I don't really give a shit. It's up to you, okay? I'm not. I have my reasons. I personally, I don't see the benefit for me. I mean, I haven't gotten COVID. I probably won't get COVID. I don't need to inject myself with COVID. So that's just my own personal opinion. But he's telling business owners to not admit non-vaccinated people. Now, here's the biggest small business that has a problem with this are restaurants, obviously. They're just starting to get back on their feet. No masks, the barriers came down, no more social distancing, which that's all going to fucking change too, but that's a story for another segment. But anyhow, the restaurants are starting to say that, look, we can't, you start discriminating against vaccinated and non-vaccinated people, a couple things are going to happen here. First of all, it's going to cut right into their profit margins. It's going to just put them completely out of business again. You're going to start triggering lawsuits by doing that, which that's what people don't understand. Everybody says, well, isn't that a violation of the HIPAA laws? And no, it's not. because the HIPAA laws only apply if you're a medical facility, like a doctor's office, hospital, something to that effect. A restaurant is not subject to fucking HIPAA laws because they're not a medical facility. But what will happen is discrimination lawsuits. Okay? So, if businesses, it could be any business, not necessarily a restaurant, if they start asking people if they're vaccinated, non-vaccinated, shunning them or telling them they can't go in here, that's discrimination. That's no different than telling somebody they can't come into your business because they're black or because they're gay or because they're Puerto Rican or whatever the fuck. Okay? So, by doing that, they're going to trigger discrimination lawsuits, which is going to bankrupt these fucking places because their insurance is going to go up. Who the fuck knows, even if they still kept their policies in place, some of these places. So Cuomo should just never give a suggestion about anything because he's a fucking moron. Okay? So we're going to talk more about the COVID the Delta variant hysteria in a few minutes. So in other Cuomo-related news, he's being called out on his silence for not boycotting Ben & Jerry's. I can't believe this fucking Ben & Jerry's thing is still hanging around. I mentioned it last week, right? That anti-Semitic Jewish ice cream. I don't fucking... It's so stupid. So in 2016, when it was back when the Jews were experiencing a lot of anti-Semitic behavior in like some of the communities. You had that nutcase that broke out of prison or whatever the fuck, or some escaped lunatic walked into a rabbi's house during a seder and basically butchered the whole fucking all the guests. So Cuomo made a big spectacle. It must have been an election year, I don't remember. In 2016, he signed an executive order and stated that New York would boycott anyone who boycotts Israel. So any company or any entity that boycotts Israel, New York would also boycott them. So in this case, Ben & Jerry's said that they're not going to distribute ice cream to Israeli occupied parts of the Gaza Strip, whatever, Palestine, what. So normally Cuomo should have came back and said, okay, well then we're going to boycott Ben & Jerry's and Unilever and all that other shit. And he hasn't done it, and now they're calling him out on it. And I don't understand why everybody is surprised. He's a fucking known anti-Semite. He hates the Jews. I mean, I'm sorry, guys, but he does. I mean, he blamed the Jews specifically for causing COVID in Brooklyn. This is not a guy who's a friend of the Jewish community. He might pretend to be, but let's be honest, he ain't. Okay? So, up next, your COVID special report. Well, I said it last week. I called it, and it fucking happened. I hate when I'm right sometimes. Masks are back. So the CDC has suggested that we start wearing fucking masks again. Now, they haven't made this a law yet. Wait, it'll happen. Okay, so the CDC said with all these COVID Delta spikes, these Wu flu part 2, all these fictitious numbers that they're throwing around, that little fuck Fauci came on TV and he said that, we should start wearing masks again, especially if you're vaccinated. And it begs the question, why would a vaccinated person wear a mask? Well, let me tell you why. Now, he says it's to protect the unvaccinated people because the Delta variant apparently spreads faster, easier, whatever. And if you have the vaccine, A, you're not 100% immune to it, even though in the same breath they say the vaccines work great. And 2, they said you could still spread it. You could still spread it through your nose or whatever, and an unvaccinated person could catch it. So far, people who've caught the Delta variant were vaccinated people. Now, here's the science behind this. Biden promised that 70% of the American population would be vaccinated by July 4th. It didn't happen. 60% were vaccinated. He missed the mark by 10%. In the same breath, they told everybody, go back to living life like you should. Fine. So people start unmasking. There was a drop off in vaccinations, and now this guy's standing around with egg on his face. Now, there were other COVID variants before the Delta variant, okay? There was a second variant, there was a third variant. This is the fourth variant, apparently, and they all said those were bad. Every variant is worse than the last one. It's a genetic virus. It mutates. So it's going to keep mutating. So same as the flu, by the way. So I'm not surprised it's a Delta variant, but I don't believe the hype that it's as bad as it is. They're skewing the fucking numbers. Because here's, and follow the logic here. So by saying it's bad, and by panicking everybody, which is what they do, and then saying you have to wear a mask to protect unvaccinated people, that's going to start to shame unvaccinated people into getting vaccinated. You're going to have vaccinated people giving unvaccinated people shit. It's going to basically shun them. Biden even went on TV and goes, if you're not vaccinated, you're dumber than I thought. So he's calling, telling people that they're stupid because they decide that they don't want to do something. And you're taking away people's civil liberties, and then you're turning the population on them because everybody else is fucking sheeple. They don't think. These are people, I have to get a vaccine. Listen, it's choice. If you want it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. I'm not vaccinated. I wouldn't want a vaccinated person wearing a mask to protect me. Okay? If I get the Wu flu, I get the Wu flu. That's on me. If you're vaccinated, you should be fine. Problem is, people who are vaccinated are the ones catching the fucking Delta variant, not the unvaxxed people. It's all a bunch of bullshit to get everybody in line. I refuse to wear a fucking mask. Not covering this pretty face anymore. Fuck it. It's been covered for a year. It's out and about, and I'm not fucking. Matter of fact, as soon as they said that they suggested it, they haven't mandated it yet, but they suggested it. I go to Dunkin' Donuts the next day. I think it was Wednesday, and everybody was wearing a fucking mask again. I'm the only one walks in no mask, and I'm like, really? You fucking people, you suck. You suck. They're sick in the head. Matter of fact, I was at the bar the other night. I made everybody take their fucking masks off because I didn't want to sit there and look at them. The bartenders, the waitstaff, I'm like, no, take them off. Fuck that shit. So, bottom line, right now they suggested it, but no stores are enforcing it. No businesses are enforcing it. It's still a choice. But now they were kicking around the idea of making it a law so that if you don't wear a mask, you can get locked up for that. Imagine this shit. Here's why there's spikes in the numbers. Okay. You got fucking people migrating across the border in droves. They're refusing vaccines, they're refusing masks, and then they're being pushed into society. They're not being held to the same standards we're being held to, and they're creating spikes and variants in the COVID cases. Because most of these spikes aren't local. They're all concentrated in and around where that border area happens to be. Go ahead, look it up. It's on the fucking news. It's a statistic. Okay? So all of this Wu flu part 2 bullshit is just that. It's bullshit. So if you want to get vaccinated, get vaccinated. If you don't, don't. I personally think it's fucking fugazi myself. Something ain't right. I'll do a little bit more research for you on that. And in the meantime, be fucking people with brains in your head. Don't give in to the fucking masses and the hysteria and the bullshit. You don't need a mask. The masks don't work. If they worked, nobody would have COVID right now, okay? They're scientifically proven that they don't fucking work. So I don't see the point of wearing it, and I'm not wearing one. That's my 2 cents. Anyway, get those tickets out, kids. You know what time it is. Time to hop aboard the crazy train's about to leave the station. All aboard! Woo-hoo! Okay, first stop, Tokyo. Well, the Japanese have developed a free-throwing robot that they debuted during the halftime of the U.S.-France basketball game. So apparently this thing is a beast in the paint. I mean, it could hit threes all fucking day long. I mean, take a look at this picture. I mean, I was watching a video on this. Google it. There's a video on it. This thing, I mean, it took me a minute to figure out it was a robot at first. I mean, that's how good this thing looked. I mean, perfect form, boop. It was hitting fucking threes back to back to back. I personally think we should order one, send it over to the Knicks, send another one over to the Nets, and send about 2 or 3 of them over to the fucking Bulls. God knows they need the help. Lord help. Lord have mercy on them. Next up, Hollywood. So, Kelly Clarkson. Now, we all know Kelly Clarkson's going through this bitter divorce, custody battle, the whole 9 yards. So a judge has ordered Kelly Clarkson to get this shit, to pay her husband $200,000 a month in alimony. For you math geniuses out there, that's $2.4 million a year in fucking alimony. Kelly Clarkson, that's a lot of money. I mean, holy shit. This guy collected $2.5 million a year for marrying this broad. Listen, I'll be honest with you. I don't, she seems like a nice girl. Not really my type, but I wouldn't mind being husband number 2. I mean, I could probably clear more than 2.4 million. I can cook. Clearly she's no stranger to the dinner table. So, Kelly, if you're not doing that the next Friday night, maybe you could be a special guest on the Friday wrap-up. Next stop, Long Island. So, Jones Beach on Monday, a lifeguard got attacked by a shark in Field 6. Imagine this shit right in our backyard. And these fucks, they didn't tell anybody right away. They just closed the beach. So, if you were on the beach, you couldn't go swimming. You can stay on the sand, obviously. But what had happened was a lifeguard got attacked by a shark. Yeah, they don't bite people. So there was no swimming. Shark sightings on Long Island actually have hit an all-time high. It's been the worst this year than it's ever been, even more so last year. So much so that Muppet-headed county executive, Laura Curran, ordered the Nassau County Police Department's Marine Division to double up on patrol. So now they're patrolling by boat and by helicopter, looking to spot sharks to see if there's any sharks in the area. Apparently, we're being invaded by sand sharks and black tips. And these sharks, they're not tremendous. They're a couple of feet. Some of them maybe get up to about 7 or 8 feet. Still pretty fucking big for a fish. But they're like the shallows. So, you think you wade in up to your nipples or something, you think you're okay. One of these things comes around, rips a chunk out of your ass. Okay? So just be aware of that. Okay? Not every shark has to look like fucking Jaws. Okay? So do yourself a favor, you go to the beach, stay out of the water, okay, because you can't see shit in that murky water anyways. So there you go. That's my little public service announcement for you right there. Next up, your sports update. So, MLB, the Yankees still suck. They're now in third place, though. The Phillies are 3 games out of first. Mets are still in first. God help me. Yankees are starting a series with the Marlins this weekend. I mean, if they don't take that fucking series, you just stop watching. Phillies are playing the Pirates, Mets are playing the Reds. So, some NHL news. Well, Ranger fans, our worst fears have been realized. Tony DeAngelo is going away. He's going bye-bye. The Hurricanes signed him to a 1-year deal. Listen, I was really hoping Drury was going to bring him back this year. The guy's one of the best defensemen in the league. Yeah, he's an asshole, but so what? But he's going to Carolina. So, that's it. No Tony DeAngelo. Like I said, I like this kid, He's a dick, but I like him. He's one of the best defensemen in the league. He's a local kid. He's from Jersey, He's Italian. How could you hate him? Okay, on What the Fuck Is That? We're going to talk about motorcycle bike racks. Have you ever seen something so fucking ridiculous as this? Okay? This was pointed out. I can't believe this exists. You see people put a bike rack on the back of a car or an SUV or whatever, and then they drive somewhere, and then they go riding through the woods and the forest, and they go, we're biking. The day I got a motorcycle, I kissed bicycles. But what's the point, right? Yeah, okay, exercise and fitness. Listen, if you're going to go riding a bike trail, okay. People who ride their bike in the street, I want to fucking smash them with my truck when I see them. As a matter of fact, the other day I'm going to get coffee, and there's a broad riding a bicycle Right on the sidewalk. Why you gotta ride right next to me? I'm trying to make a turn, right? And she's going this. I mean, I wanted to just knock her right off the fucking bike. But anyways, if you're gonna go to a bike trail, why would you take a motorcycle to a bike trail? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is a bike rack that goes on the back of a fucking motorcycle. I can't imagine. And they make them for fucking Harleys, which is even more horrifying to me because I can't see any kind of self-respecting Harley rider, riding down the road with a bicycle attached to the back of their hog. I mean, could you see one of these fucking bikers with their boots and their jeans and all shit, also pull into a fucking like bike trail, unbolt the bike, go and just go bicycling through the goddamn forest? Can you see this shit? I can't. What fucking psychos do? Look, if you want to take your motorcycle out for a ride, you take your motorcycle out for a ride. The only thing that belongs in the back of a fucking bike is maybe a couple of saddlebags and a broad. That's it. Okay? I've seen people bolt some stupid shit to their bikes before, but this takes the cake. Okay? I've seen golf club carriers on a motorcycle. I've seen pet carriers on a motorcycle. And I can kind of understand that. But this is fucking unbelievably absurd. Listen, if you see somebody riding down the highway on a bike, I don't care what kind of motorcycle it is, especially if it's a Harley, and you see a 10-speed or a mountain bike fucking attached to it, you have my blessing to run them off the road. It's not a real biker. I can't imagine why somebody would do this. You want to go on a bike ride? You bolt it to the back of your SUV. Me, I control it in the back of my truck. If I feel inclined to do that, go ride my bicycle through the forest, get a couple of ticks and about a few dozen mosquito bites, and then come back. I'm not doing this on a motorcycle. I take my motorcycle out. I'm out. Okay? I'm ball hopping. I'm riding. I'm out. I'm on a road trip. I'm gone. That's it. I ain't stopping to unbolt the bicycle from the back of it. The whole world has gone fucking crazy, people. That's it. I just when I think I've seen everything, I see something like that, and it hurts my soul. It gets me right down in there. Yeah, I got one, but that bothered me. Anyway, that's been your Friday wrap-up, kids. Hope you enjoy your weekend. It's supposed to be nice. You go to the beach. I'm telling you, stay out of the water. So, see you when I see you.